How's it going, folks? Recording another best ball draft here. Doing a best ball mania. I've pretty much held off doing these after I did 8 of them kind of pretty quick when the tournament came out because I wanted to try to capitalize on some cheap ADPs that I thought were off, mostly with the Commanders. Uh, but that kind of dried up, so now I'm back to just probably doing one best ball mania a week. Just kind of want to keep in contact with the market. Uh, so we have pick 111, which is like really unfortunate. So this is like a run I've never seen before on here. Like I do not get picks 3 through 8 at all. Like it's crazy. I just do not get them. So I have 5% Tyreek Hill, 5% Chase, 5% Jefferson, 7% Amon Ra, 7% Brees, and 5% Bijan. And I don't want to be under on. The only one of those players I really am willing to be under on is Amon Ra because I would like to be over on Bijan and Brees. So like I'm willing to sacrifice like 2 to 4% of Amon Ra and keep him at 4 to 6%. But like I'm just not getting any of those picks. I'm like a lot of drafts in, so this is like really crazy. I mean, I've had it before where like I don't get pick 1.2 for 80 drafts or something. I've experienced that before, but I've never experienced where like you're not getting a whole half of the board. It's nuts. So here at 111, we're probably going to be taking a wide receiver. Yep. Guess I'll just take AJ Brown. Pretty unexciting. I feel like all my videos, I mean, I'm only picking down here or 1 or 2. I do get a lot of pick 1 and 2. I have like 13% CD Lamb and 6% or something of McCaffrey. I have a ton of Lamb, but just gonna take Marv here. Nothing really that interesting or crazy going on. I actually don't think I have an AJ Brown Marv. I've gotten Puka Marv a few times. I've gotten a ton. I must at least have one AJ Brown and Marv from how much I've picked on here. But so obviously we'll take a look at Hurts. We might send Hurts towards the turn, in which case he could get sniped, and then we could end up with maybe going after Kyler. Probably not going to try to build the heavy Kyler stack this time. Might just when you're at pick 111, it's like I more often just end up taking Hurts here. Like, although I think my last video I pushed Hurts because I wanted to take Laporta, but usually I'm not willing to risk losing Hurts in round 3. But that was kind of a special circumstance. I wouldn't mind pulling like Nico Collins up in one of these drafts to spot 9 or 10, and then going with Lamar and Andrews and kind of getting a week 17 stack with those guys. So, yeah. Bye weeks are out now, schedule's out, so we know the week 17 games. We also know the bye weeks. The only bye weeks didn't affect too much for me. I did have a lot of Hurts and Levis, only 2 QB teams, so those are taking a 0 week 5, which is pretty rough. You do gain back a little bit by having 2 quarterbacks all the other weeks, but you probably gain very little when your starters hurt. So that was just an unfortunate thing. But I think it's right to still have been taking 2 QBs in those builds. Just that's the shit end of variance, but whatever. Week 14 is like a problem for me because there's like only good quarterbacks and late quarterbacks I don't mind that are week 14. So week 14 is Lamar, Stroud, Richardson, and Jaden Daniels. And Lamar, Richardson, Jaden Daniels are targets of mine. Stroud is not, but like I'm still willing to take him. I think he's overpriced, and I'm not trying to have zero Stroud, but I'm not trying to be overweight on Stroud either. And the other two quarterbacks that are on bye that week are Bo Nix and Drake May. Drake May is like one of my main targets, and Bo Nix is like a guy I'm fine with punting QB. Like, obviously, he's not the most exciting, but like, I don't mind him. So I'm really glad I did take that Laporta Hurts AJ Brown team when I did, because Laporta has been headed this direction. He's getting more and more expensive. So like, it's basically impossible to get that team now. I mean, you'll have a draft here or there, but where it falls that way, but it has certainly gotten tougher. So I'm basically looking at Hurts or one of these wide receivers, whether it be Devonta, Metcalf, or Kupp. I do like those receivers quite a bit more than the next people. Like, I think there's a pretty big gap from Kupp to Flowers and Higgins and Pickens for me. Happy to see Josh Allen go. Fishboy did take Saquon, so I think that ups the chances he could want to take Hurts. All right, well, we know we're going to get a receiver that we want no matter what, so let's just take Jalen Hurts, and then we'll just take whatever wide receiver of these three falls to us. I certainly couldn't send Devonta Smith to the turn, right? Because, I mean, Hurts and Devonta Smith to the turn, because then he would smash Saquon, Hurts, and Devonta Smith, I think. So I think it's right for me to just take Hurts here, because like, I don't really care between these three wide receivers who I get. They're all in the same tier to me. I would like to get Kupp because of the Week 17 correlation. But yeah, let's do the two Eagles here. I don't really ever do this, so I don't mind it. So I was either going to get, correlation with Hurts and both Eagles guys. This is not something I plan to do very often. Like, I don't really like Hurts with both Eagle guys, but like, it's been really hard to get lately, and I only have done this once in 200 drafts where I got all three. So I'm pretty interested in it in this particular draft. So we were either going to get correlation by getting both Philly guys and Hurts, or we were going to get correlation by getting Kupp with Marvin Harrison because they play Week 17, so that would have been cool. And like, pretty much the one guy I least wanted to fall to me, I guess, was DK Metcalf, because he had like no correlation with my team. But I mean, I like DK Metcalf as a pick, so it's not like I would have cried about it. But if I could have picked in order who I wanted the most out of those three wide receivers, I probably would have said Kupp, Devonta Smith, Metcalf. But I definitely think taking Hurts was correct for us. So I want to keep in mind that I don't really want Goff, Herbert, or Will Levis as my QB2. So they are the same bye week. I will occasionally draft quarterbacks to the same bye week, but not something I'm looking to do on the regular or anything. Also, like, when you have a QB like Hurts or Josh Allen or these guys that, are solo QB candidates, I think you really don't want to draft a guy with the same bye week, because like, one of the major reasons why you're drafting another quarterback with them is to make sure you get the bye week. I'm not a one quarterback guy much. I have done it. I think that there's more negatives than positives. So I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's like fine to me. The negatives for me are quarterbacks on average, starting quarterbacks miss 3 games per year, I think was the stat. And obviously, like, some are long, some are only a game, but like, even if you start to miss like 1 or 2 weeks with a solo quarterback, that team is like dead. And like, I had a team in the finals, last year that was completely live to win. Like, it was a Purdy heavy stack where I needed San Francisco to slaughter the Commanders, and they did not. They pretty much shit their pants. So I did shitty and McCaffrey got hurt, so I did shitty in the finals. But the point is, that was a 3 quarterback team with A. Rich, Daniel Jones, and like Purdy. And like I still had a chance to win the whole thing with just Purdy. Now this year, I don't think that there's as much reason to draft 3 quarterbacks because there is so much upside at the position, So you really just don't need to often draft 3 quarterbacks. I think you're getting 2 quarterback builds that have just a ton of upside. Might look to cut Kyle Pitts off here before the turn. He might go before because it looks like tight ends are kind of being valued pretty high in this room. I do want to keep in mind if I want a Dallas bring back that Ferguson is probably like the best one. And there's a chance I could get him at pick 83. So I might kind of push tight end all the way down to Ferguson. Like Njoku and Bowers are there if that goes wrong. So I don't hate it. It doesn't seem like in this room that that's super likely. I guess I can just reach on like Njoku if things go bad or Bowers. Plus Bowers just like randomly falls a bazillion spots sometimes. Don't really have anything that like lines up here. Take James Cook. Just take a little falling ADP value. I'm not a big Hollywood fan. I've taken almost like none of him. I think I would rather take the upside of Dunze. On the other hand, I have taken almost no Hollywood. Yeah, let's take Odunze. Not too thrilled with those picks, to be honest, but I was thinking maybe I should have taken Jaden Reed because I like him a good bit more than Odunze, but I'm not sure I would have felt that great about those 2 picks together either. So we're hoping Ferguson makes it to my next pick, but like I'm not very optimistic about it because tight end has been just flying off the shelves in this room. So might reach on Njoku or Bowers if that happens because I do not want to get kind of shut out at tight end. Like we would have been bringing Evan Ingram up here. Maybe that was the play, but I really wanted to leave Ferguson open as my comeback for the Eagles stuff. So I think it was best to start my running back room there with James Cook. It's not a ton of Jets that I really like, so that's a little rough for week 17 correlation. I like Malachi Corley, Mike Williams I don't really care for. Conklin is not a guy that I'm looking to take very often. So Jets are tough. Kind of always take Braylon Allen in the last round, and they kind of do correlate a bit because, if the Bills are losing, then they're probably going to throw more, and throwing more is good for James Cook. So maybe we play Braylon Allen and play for like Brees getting hurt, and the game script being pro Jets seems like pretty thin. So, but just something we could do there if we want to. Yeah, I would really doubt that Ferguson makes it to this pick. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes right here, to be honest. Not going to be interested in Kyler, even if he falls all the way to us. I just don't want to use that much capital at quarterback. If we do end up having to take Njoku, could set up something with Deshaun Watson, which is obviously like, but Miami plays Cleveland, so maybe we could look for Mostert as one of our RBs. We're starting to try to build that. That was pretty rough to Evan Ingram with that pick. So this guy is almost for sure going to take Ferguson, or the guy right in front of us. One of the two will take Ferguson. If I could be guaranteed that Bowers would fall back to me, I wouldn't reach on Njoku, but the end of these boards is like a really tough place to be. Especially like this right side of the board sucks. It's where I'm getting every one of my picks, and it sucks. The reason it sucks so bad is because like it's not just that round 1 is ass. It's that round 3 you're also just like eating shit, and like round 2 you're not even getting like a bonus, right? So like round 1 you're just like easily getting the worst. We did get our Dallas bring back, so that's nice. And we do not have to reach on a tight end. I will still be interested in Bowers if it falls all the way back to us. Could go for Watson or Rasheed here. We could just go ahead and grab a running back. I really do like Zamir. I'll just take Zamir. Got a little fall on Zamir there, so I went ahead and took him. Opens up some week 17 bringbacks with like Juwan Johnson and A.T. Perry and Rashid Shaheed. I like taking a running back there too because like our start for wide receiver, getting a Dunze as our wide receiver 4 is a little weaker. So like we kind of want to lock into getting 8 wide receivers now. You know, we got the 2 Eagles guys on the same team. We have Roma Dunze, who could be like a slow starter / I mean, could be. He has like a massive ceiling, low floor, so pretty decently pleased with the start. What are we doing at second QB? I have absolutely no plans for that right now. So we could pretty much do anything other than Levis, Herbert, or Goff. I would rather push it with Hurts. I am interested in pushing it. So Njoku and Bowers both interest me here. If Bowers sometimes just falls like way past ADP. Derek Carr could end up being an option. Like I hate Derek Carr, but could end up doing some Vegas and Saints game stacking for week 17. Maybe we get a Carr revenge game. Could certainly take wide receiver with one of our next 2 picks. Probably almost for sure taking one running back. Could take a Mike Williams share. That's like someone I just do not ever take, so maybe that would be interesting. Mike Williams and James Cook correlation. It's what's nice about the correlation thing. It's like you don't want to like get crazy and overdo it, but sometimes like it's not like I think Mike Williams isn't in that tier, right? I just kind of dislike him. So if I never had a reason to tie break towards him before, I just never took him. But now, if I'm like, yeah, he's in that tier, and now I have a reason to tie break towards him, well, maybe I take him. I'm very interested in Bowers. I have some interest in Mike Williams or Lockett because they week 17 correlate with players on my team. I just think Bowers is a good pick. He doesn't correlate with anything. I don't think Bowers makes it to us, but probably not going to do Goddard since I have, two Eagles pass catchers already. There's a decent amount of running backs I still like on the board. Mike Williams did go, so that opportunity is not there for us anymore. We do have Curtis Samuel, who is a team correlation with James Cook. If you want to bet on that offense. We have Mostert falling as just an ADP value. There's 3 players on the board I have a lot of interest in. I guess kind of 4. Mostert, Samuel, Bowers, and Lockett. Bowers does go. It's probably going to look to take a running back and a wide receiver. We'll see how greedy I want to get here. Okay, I'm definitely going to take Mostert if he's there. I'm just going to suck up that ADP value. Yep, we're taking Mostert. I would like to get one of Samuel or Lockett, but I don't want to miss this ADP value on Mostert. So hopefully this guy doesn't take Samuel and Lockett. He has 5 wide receivers, so I doubt that he will, but certainly could. I have like a minor preference towards Lockett, but I'd rather have the Week 17 comeback with a Doomsday than the team bet on Buffalo, I think. But there goes Samuel. Let's see if he takes Lockett too. Just if he does that, we might just take Devin Singletary and unfortunately kick the can on wide receiver. It was pretty rough for him to not take a running back here. All right, so we did get one of the 2 wide receivers, which is nice. So a little mini correlation game 17 here with Odunze and Lockett. I would say it opens up Geno Smith for me, but Geno Smith. Don't really have any plans whatsoever for another quarterback right now. Might have to just like pull some sort of late stacking or something, which usually ends up with me ending with Drake May, who I love, but I'm starting to get like too much Drake May. I need to start pumping the brakes at least mildly on Drake May. Just trying to see like other quarterbacks that make any sense at all for me. Not seeing much. I'm not seeing much. I mean, there's Geno. Well, I have his Lockett, so maybe I end up with Charbonnet. There's always late car shenanigans that we could pull off. May, Bo Nix. Let's take a look at this board blown up. Pretty fun draft so far. Like I said, like I'm not really looking to do these 2 Eagles and hurt too much, but Devonta Smith's the end of the tier. I've only done this once before in 200 drafts, so I certainly don't mind doing it here. This is a Doomsday pick was like, I don't know. Maybe I should have just taken my first Hollywood Brown share there. I have some Hollywood Brown shares, but they're from the big board. They're pre-draft. When I was getting him like super cheap, he was going in the like hundreds because he wasn't on a team. I actually ended up with him correlated with Patrick Mahomes on 3 teams out of my like 5 Patrick Mahomes teams because I was kind of playing for that out, not specifically just this one out. So I ended up with Worthy and Hollywood on Patrick Mahomes' teams a few times because I was just trying to draft rookies and free agents to the Chiefs. I had a team that had Hollywood, Worthy, and Curtis Samuel all like super late because I was drafting Chiefs, just trying to find something there. Wow. Probably going to take running back here. I definitely have interest in Rashid Shaheed as well. Shaheed could start to build out something for the Vegas and for Carr because I have Zamir White. Yeah, I mean Gus Edwards here is a absolute smash for me. I think Gus Edwards is like really nice. We could get another comeback for the Dallas game with Brandon Cooks. We could take Leggett and open up that. Man, I really just want to take Blake Corum. Correlates with Marvin Harrison, and the chances that he's just a league winner are huge. So we're only going to have to take one more running back, which is pretty sweet. Could make it like Shipley. This is like a really nice running back room. So let's start to look at some players that we want for correlation purposes. Malachi Corley at 168 is one. A.T. Perry is one. Juwan. So 168. What is that? That doesn't line up at all with where we're picking. He does fall sometimes, so that's nice, but yeah, would have been nice to get a wide receiver there, but I don't know. Those seemed like two absolute smash picks. Getting Corum's upside plus the week 17 correlation with Marv seemed huge. Gus Edwards is just, that was way too cheap. We do have Gus Edwards, which means we could start to do like Hunter Henry as our other tight end here at 158 and then do some Drake May stuff and build up a week 17 game stack with those guys. So maybe Jalen Polk, we get lucky and falls to 154. His ADP has got to be, it is 154. So yeah, let's see if we get lucky with that. I'm just going to end up with like so much Drake May. I'm not really sure what can be done about it. Like to me, like the two quarterbacks that are late that I think are just like way too cheap and shouldn't be in these tiers, Levis and Drake May. Like I have them ranked so much higher. I have them ranked above both of them ranked over every single person on this screen. So maybe I'm just too high on them. I don't know. But really like the upside of each. Right now I'm looking at Xavier Leggett, Polk. If we get backed into it, there's always the Troy Franklin route we can go and start to do something with Denver. Maybe end up with Bo Nix instead of May. Kind of already have 7% Bo Nix, which is more Bo Nix than I'd like, but I think he's okay. Having a run on running backs, which is really nice, considering I do not want to be picking a running back anytime in the near future. There's two running backs I really, really like that are late because I think they have a little bit better opportunity to take the job without an injury during the season. Definitely not week 1, but I think like Estime and Bucky Irving can outplay the starters and end up taking over. I'm going to have so much Hunter Henry as well. He's a guy I'm just ending up with way too much of. Fishboy does not have any tight ends. I think I'd be okay losing Hunter Henry towards my Drake May stack, so I'm probably going to throw him to the turn if Polk is. Yeah, Polk goes. Okay, fuck that idea then. Fuck that idea. Oh, yeah, we'll take Hunter Henry. Be done at tight end. Probably going to take one of Wilson and Burton here. They don't really do anything as far as correlation. I guess I could go down to Malachi Corley if I want to. Do I want to? Is Corley not in that tier for me? I think he kind of is in that tier for me. I think Roman Wilson's got a pretty high upside, though. I'm going to take Roman Wilson, pass on the week 17 correlation. I just think Roman Wilson's upside is quite a bit higher than Corley's. Also, Corley can sometimes randomly just like fall. But so there's some chance we could get both. As far as week 17 bringbacks for Roman Wilson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is available at the end of drafts. I will be looking to add one more running back. Probably going to lean towards Will Shipley to go with my Eagles stuff. So, players I still have some interest in. Bucky Irving is always an interest. Don't think I'll take him on this team, though. I'm not going to take any tight ends anymore. Mr. Drake May. If Drake May is bad this year, it is going to be not pretty for me. It is going to be not pretty for me. Would love to get Javon Baker on this team. Then maybe round out the wide receiver room with A.T. Perry, since we have Zamir White. Get that correlation. I like A.T. Perry a lot. I think he's one of the best last round picks. I like the upside of Drake May. I like much more than Geno Smith, who obviously we could take having Tyler Lockett, but yeah, pretty rare Philadelphia double. I feel like this team basically is going to come down to do one of Roma Junze or Roman Wilson hit hard. If they do, we're probably in pretty good shape. If neither does, then we're probably in pretty bad shape. So I feel very confident that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to hit hard. I think our Philly guys will be fine, but obviously they're going to have to like ping pong a bit in the playoffs. Like, it's probably hard for one to be super, super good. And the other also be super, super good. No correlation aspect with Wandell. Just he's by far my favorite remaining wide receiver. Guess we could go with Demario Douglas, maybe with Drake May. Demario Douglas, I have like no idea what to think of. He's like such a weird player to try to figure out. Because like if one of Polk or John Baker ends up just like kind of sucking, then there's a good chance that Demario Douglas could be decent. He's like very fast. He's like a 4.4 guy. We do have Michael Wilson falling quite far here, which is like somewhat interesting. We do have Arizona built out a bit, but he goes. If I have a choice between these, I'm just going to take Wandell here because, worst comes to worst, we can just take Daniel Jones. So. He opens up Evan Hull as a week 17 correlation. See if that's something we even end up caring about. Well, we're down to just one stack piece for Drake May. So, I'm going to take one of these two. Just going to go ahead and take Geno here. We only ended up getting one stack piece for Drake May. I prefer Drake May to Geno a good bit, but like I'm getting 1,000 Drake Mays and like no Genos, so. Just double check on the bye week thing. We're all good to go there, so let's do that. If I would have gotten two pieces to go with Drake May, I would have just taken Drake May. But basically, it's just Lockett or just Hunter Henry. I prefer May to Geno Smith, like I said, but Geno Smith's a player I'm not getting any of, and Drake May is a player I've gotten all of, so I have like 15% Drake May and 2% Geno Smith. So I think this is a good spot for me to just kind of mix it up, just because, Geno fell past ADP and I want to cool off on Drake May a little bit if I can. So let's look at other players that we might be interested in. Say Jones correlates with one of our guys. Robinson correlates on the other side of that same Arizona game. Roshan correlates with some of our guys. I would imagine he's gone before the pick. Yeah, he goes now. Estime, I think, is just an amazing pick. Will Shipley goes with our Philadelphia stuff. A.T. Perry's come back for Zamir, and I like A.T. Perry a lot. We've got Clyde that correlates with Roman Wilson. We've got Evan Hull that correlates with Wandell. I've been taking a ton of Evan Hull too, so I think I'm going to take him off. We've got Braylon Allen that sort of more loosely correlates with James Cook. I'd be more interested in Braylon Allen if I had a wide receiver, just because of the game script of passing versus running. Most of the guys that correlated for us got kind of eaten up already. Jalen Tolbert is a guy I haven't any of that like a lot of people in the Spike Week Discord like, and he correlates to our Big Eagle stack. So maybe I capitulate here and like I have 20% AT Perry and 0% Jalen Tolbert. So Would I want that to be 15% and 5%? I don't think so. So I think A.T. Perry is a pretty much stronger bet than Jalen Tolbert, but 18% and 2%, you could talk me into that. Maybe this is the start of the 2%. We have Estime that correlates with nothing, but I think it's just such a good pick. Man, did Jalen Tolbert suck those last 2 years. It's just tough for me to buy into. I like A.T. Perry so much more. I think I'm going to just stick with my guns and go with A.T. Perry here. I've talked myself out of this Jalen Tolbert thing. Like, if it's Jalen Tolbert, they gotta just go find someone else, right? He's just so bad. Like, at least A.T. Perry showed some signs of like life. Like, I guess they had almost the same amount of points last year, but yeah, I can't do it. Sorry, Jalen Tolbert. And we'll take one of these 3 running backs. It's a matter of, do we want to correlate or do we want to just take the guy I think has the highest upside, which is Estime. Given that Will Shipley correlates with our main stack, I think I would give preference to that. I also have like 27% object Estime, so another player I'm fine cooling off on a little bit. Just kind of looking at my running back bye weeks, since those are not loaded yet. I almost did it, Jalen Tolbert. I was close. I was close, my friend. All right, let's go with Will Shipley here since he correlates with our main stack. So all in all, I think this team came together pretty good. Like, obviously, I can give myself an A minus. Anytime you get one of the elite quarterbacks, it's probably like the lowest grade you can really give the room. Geno Smith, not one of my favorites. Like I said, could have gotten Drake May, but given the single stack for each one and the fall past ADP, don't mind diversifying with a little Geno Smith there. This running back room, we only have 6 in a 0 RB. Well, it's not a true 0 RB room because we took James Cook, so it's kind of like a modified hero room, but man, this is a good 6. Getting the falls on Mostert and Gus Edwards was premium. This is like a fantastic room considering the draft capital we used. So I would give this like an A. I mean, obviously, like, it doesn't have the true top guys that you really want, but like when you miss those guys, and this is about as good as you could hope for. This is our problem area. We do have like quite a bit of potential with these last 2 picks in Wandell and A.T. Perry, 2 of my favorite picks. Roman Wilson's got a high upside. Roma Dunze's got, the high floor, low ceiling. We do have the Philly thing going, which I'm not trying to do too much, so probably give this wide receiver room a B, then probably a B plus here. Turd Fergal can do some damage, but getting way too much Hunter Henry. Sickening amount of Hunter Henry. Well, thanks for watching and good luck in your drafts, folks.